Travis Kelce and teammates enter the locker room at Arrowhead after a thrilling win over the Indianapolis Colts. Kansas City continued to be immersed in the red festive atmosphere at Arrowhead Stadium as the host Kansas City Chiefs won a thrilling victory over the Indianapolis Colts in a dramatic game on Sunday night. But if the atmosphere on the field was already boiling, what happened behind the locker room doors was even more intense, especially when Travis Kelce, star tight end, the heart of the team and the symbol of Arrowhead, and his teammates walked inside after an emotional 4-minute quarter. The moment the door opened, fatigue, adrenaline and pride mixed, as soon as the final whistle blew. Travis Kelce headed straight for the tunnel leading to the locker room. His uniform collar was still soaked with sweat, his gloves had been removed in layers, and his eyes reflected the focus of someone who knew every yard of this game was worth the effort. Walking down the cold concrete hallway, Kelce exchanged high fives with his teammates, mixed with gasps that hadn't yet calmed down after a series of route runs. Patrick Mahomes walked right behind him, a small smile of satisfaction on his face, a white towel draped over his shoulder as a symbol of relief after a long game of tactical chess. As they passed the staff and security area, cheers from the logistics staff and volunteers continued to ring out. Arrowhead was never a quiet place, especially after a victory. A team employee called out, "Great job, Trav. Absolute beast out there." Kelce only responded with a humble nod of pride. This was more than just a game. This is home, this is responsibility, this is where he left his sweat, his screams, and his heart. The atmosphere in the locker room, a sea of emotions rushing through like a storm surge. As soon as he stepped inside, the first sound Kelce heard was the loud banging of someone's helmet against the wall, not out of anger, but out of relief. Each player had a different way of escaping the pressure of the game. Some screamed, others slumped in their chairs, others stretched as if releasing all their energy. Kelce smiled when he saw Chris Jones, the giant of the defense, laughing loudly and slamming a few water bottles on the metal table, sending dozens of important tackles crashing to the ground. In the corner of the room, Mahomes was removing his finger bandage, his face still slightly red from the cold and the tension. He and Kelce exchanged glances. The pair understood each other's every run, every throw, every split-second tactical change. Mahomes laughed and said, "Man, we made that way more stressful than it needed to be." Kelce responded in his familiar deep voice, "But hey, a win is a win." And that fourth quarter drive? Worth every drop of sweat. The winning goal, a hot topic among players. The middle of the locker room immediately transformed into a hotbed of quick analysis. Two defensive players debated the last-minute block. A few offensive players were watching a highlight reel projected on a small screen mounted on the wall. Kelce sat down in his chair, removed his mouthguard, and put it in its case. He wiped his face with a towel as his teammates commented on the catch in the third quarter, the catch that sent tens of thousands of spectators at Arrowhead into a frenzy. Marquez Valdes-Scantling came up to Kelce, his voice full of excitement. "Bro, that route was insane. Even I didn't know you were going to cut that sharp." Kelce chuckled, "Sometimes I don't know either until I do it." The laughter broke out, easing the tension left over from the game, a series of sounds and images that only the locker room has. The locker room after a game is always a special place. It's not always pretty. It has the sound of tape being ripped off, the sound of cleats hitting the tile floor, the smell of sweat, grass, and adrenaline that hasn't completely dissipated, the sound of training staff calling out players' names to quickly check for injuries, the sound of reporters waiting outside, ready to rush in when given permission. While Kelce was drinking half a bottle of Gatorade, the medical staff came over to quickly check his right shoulder after a few hard collisions during the game. He raised his hand and turned it slightly, confirming that everything was okay. "I'm fine, everyone, don't worry," he said, his voice filled with exhaustion but full of confidence.